Braden Smith might just be the best player in college basketball, and he's not a towering big or a flashy freshman. He's a 6-foot floor general out of West Lafayette. Now, he just won the Bob Cousy Award, took home the Big Ten Player of the Year, and enters this season as the favorite for the Wooden Award. Now, the numbers are impressive, but the film, that's where it gets real. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to Scout Team Sports. Today, like you saw in the intro, we're talking Braden Smith. And all of the film that I'm going to show you today focuses on his ability to operate within the pick and roll on offense. And when you look at statistics last year, he operated in the pick and roll in the 99th percentile. So there was very few players across college basketball that teams trusted as much as Purdue trusted Braden Smith. And we're going to start off by taking a look at him being able to be a creator for his teammates out of the pick and roll. I want to start off with Braden's ability to find his teammates when he's operating out of a pick and roll. Now, it's something that's easier said than done because a lot of times people think, oh yeah, well, you're just hitting your roll man. But I want you to pay attention in these clips into the spaces where he's throwing these passes. Like, you have to read whether you're hitting him on a short roll, whether you're letting him get closer to the rim, whether you're finding them as they're, as a lob or like leading them into the basket. His ball placement is just consistently money. Like, he's very patient. He can slow himself down, allow the guy time to get to the space he needs to be. He can find angles to deliver passes into really tight windows, and just gives his teammates the ability to finish easy buckets rather than having to do too much. And that is such a privilege to be able to trust your point guard to do that. And for that reason, I don't think there's a better offense creator in college basketball. Now, what starts to separate him as a player is his ability to make the defense pay in real time. So you're watching this, and he can really, once you start trying to take away that roll man, make you pay in some dangerous ways. As a big man, you have to make a decision on a screen. Am I dropping back and taking away the short roll, taking away the roll to the rim, or am I going to press up and take away his jump shot? Now, he makes you really have to think about that for a long time because not only, as we've talked about, is he an excellent passer, but you're seeing in this clip that if you drop off too far and give him space, he can be a pretty lethal knockdown shooter. I think on the year last year, he shot around 38% from three, even higher when you look at catch and shoot looks or unguarded looks. Really good looking jump shot. So it's putting a defense in a bind to where they have to decide, hey, am I helping up or am I taking away a guy who can dunk on me at the rim? So for that reason, Purdue is super dangerous. Now, as if the defense didn't have enough to worry about, he's also really adept at blowing the corner of that screen and getting to the rim and finishing creatively. So he's not a guy who's going to wow you as far as finishing over or through people, but he is quick enough and can be crafty enough with the ball and change his launch angle enough that he is a legitimate threat at the rim to finish, and he does so at a pretty good clip. This isn't an area of his game where he has to be a world beater because he does so much already that makes you worried. Like, you can't do everything against him. You can't take everything away. So when you add that kind of third attacking facet that makes him even more of a threat, it puts him on a different plane and puts you in a complex situation with how you guard him that not many guards are capable of creating that type of situation. Now, what separates Braden Smith for me and puts him over the top is his ability to turn a two-man pick and roll short side game into something that involves the entire offense. His ability to see the entirety of the court and find guys who are cross-court passes, 45s, short corners. He's really good at that. He's super patient. He doesn't make rash decisions. He plays off of 2 feet really well, and he puts the ball on the money time and time again. This is really hard to do, especially when you consider the amount of different ways he attacks defenses. His mind is never made up. A lot of guys, when they attack a pick and roll, it's like a either or situation. It's either I'm turning the corner or I'm finding my roll man, or I'm going to shoot this jump shot or I'm going to hit somebody on a slip. With him, he's calm under pressure. He's able to handle the ball really well, speed himself up or slow himself down to match the situation and find guys in opportunistic spots. And that's something that point guards have a really hard time doing because it's just so much to go through your mind, a lot of data to process, if you want to call it that. And he does it at a really high level, and he does it really fast. So for me, this comes with experience. It comes from being in college for a few years against elite athletes. Braden Smith is just built a little differently. So I wanted to start my final thoughts off for this video by explaining why I'm making it in the first place. One, it's because Braden Smith is just a phenomenal college basketball player. He truly is. He's somebody who is dynamic, and just like we talked about in the film, can impact the floor on really every level on offense. But I made a video last year before NC State played them, which is my team, and I've watched him play a few times, and I think it was a scouting report on Purdue, and I talked about Braden Smith and that he was a good, borderline great passer that wasn't that flashy, that was limited offensively, and that was based off early season stats, I'll say, but also that he was somebody that you could turn over if you sped him up. And I think that I was relying on the data when I did that, but I got a lot of comments from Purdue fans. And so I've looked into it more, and as I watch his game more and more, I'm left with the conclusion that Braden Smith just is the byproduct of a high level of basketball skill, but also a high amount of experience. He's been around a winning culture for a long time. He understands the game of basketball, and he, again, just processes information so well that he's operating at a different frequency than a lot of the guys around him. So it makes him really hard to guard. And when I say that he's not a flashy passer, I definitely think he has that in his bag now from watching more film on him. Like, he does things and finds passing angles that he makes look simple, but are definitely not at all. And I think that Purdue fans should take that as a compliment when I say that, because he is somebody who just finds ways to deliver kind of old school little bounce pocket passes that a lot of guys just don't do because it's a bit of a lost art. So I love that about his game. I think for me and for my money, if you're a college basketball program, I can't think of a point guard or player outside of a couple. I know NC State got Darian Williams, who I'm super high on this year, but Braden Smith as a leader of a team, he's not, it's not a question with him of, oh, if I'm having a fantasy draft and starting a team, would I take Braden Smith #1 overall to be on my roster this year? Because I don't think it's apples to apples. I think so much of his value lies within being around a program for as long as he has, knowing everything they're trying to accomplish, leading guys that have been around him for a few years. So for me, for Purdue, certainly, like, there's no one in college basketball who's more important or who I would trade Braden Smith for if I'm Purdue basketball. And I think he's certainly in that conversation of a top 5, top 10 player in college basketball. And that's with being a little bit void of athleticism to the level that other guys in that category are. But that's not the be all end all in college basketball. And we've seen that, especially as older guys are tending to exert more and more influence on the game of college basketball. So this is a long way for me to say that I am just such a huge fan of Braden Smith. I think potential-wise this year, he should be considered the favorite for National Player of the Year. He certainly has a resume that very few can compete with, and that's, again, a very small list. So I think it makes a complete sense in the world for Braden Smith to come into this year being the front runner for a National Player of the Year. I'm excited to see how this year shakes out for them. I love the roster moves that they made. I did an Oscar Clough video earlier. Kaufman-Renn's just a fantastic player. They have pieces around him where, like, they're going to be able just to retool, still have a lot of success. So Purdue fans, let me know what you think. Where am I on base? Where am I wrong? I love having that discussion that started back last year on that Purdue scouting report video. But I'm going to keep doing some more Purdue content because I think they're a very interesting story this year. But if you don't mind, hit the subscribe button, stick around, get alerted when I have new things. I do a lot of NBA content, a ton of college basketball content, review a ton of film. So if there's a player you want me to break down, let me know. I'd be more than happy to do it. But I appreciate all you guys being here, and I'll see you on the next one.